Good day, everybody. How are you? How are you doing? Are you getting some fresh air and learning a little bit, helping around the house? All right, so today is part 2 of collage. Say the word, collage. Okay, so students will be creating a collage with 2D shapes. And you're like, what is a 2D shape? 2D shapes are in math, boys and girls. For example, this circle is a 2D shape. This triangle is a 2D shape. 2D shape, flat surfaces. Vocabulary. You will be learning 2D shapes, geometry, overlapping, craftsmanship, semicircle, and design. And a semicircle is half of a circle. It's a math term, half of a circle. All right, let me put this down. Materials. You will be using glue, scissors, pencil, scraps of paper. Now, boys and girls, I know not everybody has those materials, so I have an option for you. So let's read the options. If you don't have glue, these are options for a 2D shape collage or another collage, okay? If you don't have glue, you can rearrange materials on top of a surface, okay, until you like your design, and then you take a photo. And we'll give you an example in a little bit, okay? You have no scissors, it's okay. You can cut pieces by hand and rip carefully. They don't need to be perfect. No paper, it's okay, okay? You can use cardboard, old mail, ask your parents, semi-dry leaves, or other objects that have 2D shapes. So you can hunt around for those shapes. This project is for grades K through 2nd, but it can be practiced with any age, any. Time from setting up to cleaning is about 60 minutes or 90 minutes. And in your art class, that would be 3 sessions. It could take more. The first thing I want you to do before you even start the project, look for 2D shapes around your house, okay? For example, this mac and cheese box, even though it's a 3-dimensional shape, a form, a rectangular prism, but if we trace it, it's a what? A rectangle. So that's a winner. All right. I found a square. I found some circles. Big circle. Smaller circle. The little car that you have. Boop, boop. All right, the little car is almost a rectangle. So these are shapes. In my case, I want to use this line sheet of paper that I found around my house. And I am going to trace circles. So I grab my first big circle, trace it. And you might want a couple of circles. Another size, trace it. You hold the object firmly down, hold it down, and you trace it. Remember, one hand works, the other hand helps, okay? If you're having difficulty, have a family member hold the object as you trace it, okay? Now that you have traced your pieces, you're going to cut them, okay? If you have a scissor. And I'm going to show you what you do when you don't have a scissor. Okay, so these are my circles. We're going to cut first with the scissor. We hold it with one hand, cut with the opposite hand. I'm right-handed, but you might be left-handed. And you cut on the line as best as you can, okay? If you make a mistake, no big deal. We're practicing, we're learning. I don't have a scissor. Okay, so if I have a circle, right, I can use my hands and rip around. You see my line? I'm going to rip around my line. Is it going to be perfect? No, but it's going to be like a 2D shape? Yes, okay? So rip around. That line is going to help guide me, and I'm going to rip around the circle. If I want to fix it, I want my parents to help me out, my older sibling, my cousin, whoever lives with me. Have them help you out. Actually, it looks like the sun, okay? So you have one that is ripped, one that is with a scissor, okay? You put glue in the back of the object or the paper. So I'm going to put glue in the back, okay? All around. Press it down on the surface. And I like to tell my students to count up to 10. But if you want to count up to 20, that's fine. Count in your head. So now we have our two circles glued, okay? Now, what happens if you don't have glue or you don't have scissors? That's okay. You can find objects that resemble a 2D shape, like even though this is a cylinder, but a cylinder is made from parts of a circle, okay? So you can rearrange objects on top of a surface to create a design. A magnet, this is a rectangle, and I am going to find a paper, okay? I have a piece of an old calendar. Yeah, I have all these things. And you're going to trace. I am going to cut on the lines if I can. If I can't cut on the lines because I don't have a scissor, you may score it. And all right, so now I have a square, and these are what? Sticky notes. Oh yeah. So I'm going to take a sticky note. Voila! So if I don't have glue, I can stick this to my paper. So I'm going to stick it somewhere on my paper. The idea is that you're overlapping, like the sticker is overlapping the circle. Overlapping, okay? All right, and as I'm working, I'm using craftsmanship. I'm being careful with my art. Even if I had to rip it, I didn't have a scissor. It's okay. I'm being careful by ripping. All right, so I'm going to show you what scoring is. So I am going to grab a scrap paper that I have, and I am going to trace that first. I am going to score this, sorry. Okay, so this is the scrap piece of paper that I just found in one of my drawers. Okay, so I have a line, and yeah, this was the error, but this is the line, and this is line for the rectangle. So scoring means that I'm going to take this and fold it down to the line. Now, if you're having difficulty, put it against the table. I'm just showing you up in the air so you can see. But if you're having difficulty, ask an adult. So press hard, muscle, okay? Then press the other side, okay? So what I like to do is I fold the opposite way, all right? Opposite way to score, press, fold it the opposite way. Okay, and use your flat surface to press, and then you're going to score it. That means you're going to gently rip the paper, and voila, you might have a straight line. Now, if it's a little ripped, it's okay, no big deal. So you see that scoring, okay? And I ripped it. Same thing. I'm going to have to make a little dent right there. And you rip it, okay, you see that? So then I have, voila, my rectangle, okay? Now, I don't want my rectangle as a rectangle. Yeah, I want a triangle. So how can I do that? Ask a family member. How can you do that? You're correct. You cut a line from corner to corner, which that's a diagonal line. So it's more vocabulary words are up there as we go. Okay, so cut. Oh, Miss Andine curved it a little bit. Oh, it's okay. Oh, big boo-boo. That's all right. Miss Andine's going to trim it. All right, it's a different shape now. Okay, We go, we keep cutting and keep cutting to overlap. And then as you are working, boys and girls, you're going to notice that your art is going to resemble something else. Like for example, this one here, okay, this one here, it looks like a clock. I didn't meant to be a clock at the beginning. I just glued a circle, but then I figure out, let me put the numbers in, let me put a little face there, and the clock is dancing with time. And then I went through some magazines that I had here and I cut other pieces. These are semicircles, okay? So let me show you how that's done. All right, so I'm going to go back to my paper. Remember that I use this for circles. So if it's with a scissor, you're going to cut around the lines. All right, so we want to make this into a semicircle. So we do is we fold this in half. Okay, fold this in half like a taco, okay? And I want you to score it. So that means press, 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 okay? Press, turn it over, press, press the other side. And then carefully with your hands, you are going to rip that piece. If you don't have a scissor, if you have a scissor, you can cut it, okay? All right, so whoa, semicircle. All right, 2 equal pieces. And you keep building your piece. Now, right now it doesn't look like much, not really, but you have to cut more. You would have to cut more shapes like circles, squares, triangles, rectangles, rhombus, multiple shapes. And you are overlapping all the time. Overlapping, 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 okay? So that's why it might take you from 60 to 90 minutes, depends how much you're cutting or ripping. You can use leaves. These are leaves from my yard. And the truth, if they're a little bit dry, they do glue better on your paper if they're a little drier. And this froggy here was cut by ripping the frog. I purposely did not use scissors. These are leaves, not paper. These are magazines, and these are my 2 elephants from the last video. I have not finished this, but yes, you can draw, color, paint, anything you want on that background there. Okay, all right. And then if you are rearranging things, the pieces have, or the objects I would say, they have 2D shapes. If you just take a photograph, you would see the 2D shape. You do know they are 3-dimensional though, but they are 2D shapes. So if you don't have glue, don't have scissors, don't have construction paper or even color paper or even white paper, you can find objects around your house and rearrange them. All right, well, let's review. So you created a collage with 2D shapes, if you were able to. If not, you still created a collage. Vocabulary, you use 2D shapes. Geometry, you definitely use geometry. Geometry is part of math. You created overlapping by putting one over each other. Craftsmanship with care as your age. You created semicircles when you cut a circle in half or rip the circle in half. And you created a design. Design is the idea that you, as a little artist, decided how to rearrange these things, okay? Materials were glue, scissors, pencil, and scraps of paper if you had it. If you didn't have it, you had options with no glue, options with no scissor, options with no paper. And yes, this project could be made from kindergarten to 2nd grade, or even if you have a pre-K at home also, parents, the pre-K can try it. They will need a lot of help, but yes, they can try it. And it could be practiced for any age. I mean, if an adult wants to create a collage, they can do that. Time, again, is 60 minutes to 90 minutes, depending the size of your piece, okay? All right, thank you for watching.